Heyo, it's Mayo. So, today I wanted to share with you guys some things that people don't tell you about remission. I thought this would be a good follow-up topic to my previous video, sharing about that I'm 8 years out from when I first got sick, that I'm 3 years in remission. I actually wrote a blog post talking about this about a year ago because a friend and I had a phone call conversation talking about remission. She and I are both in remission from the same illnesses, that being tick-borne diseases, etc. And I turned her and I's conversation into a whole blog post, and I meant to turn it into a video, but I'm doing that now. Without further ado, the things that people don't tell you about remission. Remission doesn't mean that you're instantly back to being 100%, back to your old life, back to the old you, and normal. Remission is a gradual healing process. You will have to continue to be patient, extra compassionate, forgiving, and give yourself time to heal. On top of that, you will have to still continue to work every day consistently on your health and your healing and maintaining it being a number one priority in your life. There are still a lot of good days and bad days, although the bad days become less frequent and less extreme, and the good days get better and more frequent. Shit does tend to hit the fan sometimes still, and that's something that just happens in life sometimes. When that does happen, it won't be as bad, it won't be as frequent, and you'll get better at coping through it even faster. The good days feel even better than you can imagine, and you probably will happy cry a lot. The bad days will likely trigger your past scars and wounds more than you would expect. You still have health flares, probably for longer than you would expect to, but it doesn't mean that you're relapsing. It doesn't mean that you have to panic or spin into fight or flight. Your bad day or your flare could have been triggered by stress, hormones, a full moon, maybe you have a cold, maybe you ate something that you shouldn't have. It's best to just chill and give it a few days and see what happens. Healthy people live by the rule of if it worsens or continues for more than 2 weeks, then you call your doctor. And this is you now. This is your life. Gotta live it, love it, learn it, adjust to it. You're no longer in this instantaneous fight or flight, oh shit, I'm dying, I gotta go to the ER. When you have those moments of something flaring, it's best to just kind of breathe, calm down, remind yourself that you've come a long way, use the tools that you have, and if it persists and continues, then you go talk to a doctor. Some days you're gonna cry like the world is ending and you have no idea why. Some days you're gonna feel stuck and less than, or maybe get frustrated at the pace that things are going, wishing that you were healing faster and getting back to everything quicker. Some days you're gonna wonder if it all was just a bad dream. Some moments you're gonna completely forget about the past, and those are really cool moments. It will sometimes feel a little bit odd and Twilight Zone-y to have gone from normal and healthy to sick and dying to healing and kind of normal. It feels like you have parallel universe versions of yourself that are all kind of like colliding. It's a very weird feeling. In life, you will fit in even less now because when you were sick, you found your sick friends and chronic illness communities to support you and uplift you and understand where you were coming from. And when you were healthy, you had that whole life. But now that you're in remission, you don't really fit completely on either side of the spectrum, and you're left somewhere in the middle. And in the middle, there's really not as many people who are in this phase. It's probably the least you will ever fit in. But it's best to embrace being different and unique and enjoy just being yourself and enjoy that you've progressed so far. To continue on this a little bit, it will feel kind of weird to have like your sick friends and your healthy friends, to have kind of the remnants of your sick life and then moving into your new healthy life, and you kind of just feel like you're bouncing back and forth between two different identities. And I hope that you choose and resonate more with your new healthy life. Doesn't mean that you have to lose any of your friends or any of the amazing things that you've gained from the chronic illness communities, but it's a weird space to be in, not really fitting in completely anywhere. If you're lucky, you may find a friend who is also in remission and at a similar stage as you, and you two can fully relate to each other. At least if you have one person or someone who gets it, that's awesome, because everyone else doesn't really get it. You will naturally have expectations of what you think remission will look and feel like, and I can almost guarantee that it will be very different. That's not a good or bad thing either. That's just kind of how life tends to be sometimes, is we expect things to go one way and be a certain way and feel a certain way, and when we get there it's different, and that's not good or bad, it's just kind of a thing. There will be certain things that you will expect to want to do when you're in remission, and possibly when you get into remission and you try those things, you may not like it. Or maybe you get to remission and you have no desire to do those things anymore. This may surprise you, but you've changed a lot due to your illness, so maybe you just don't want the same things. Some things may not fit you anymore, or they may not be fun, or they may not be what you thought it would feel like. But it's best to not hover too much on that and instead focus on things that you do enjoy, things that do uplift you, to follow your excitement and where you feel good, rather than dwelling too much on all of the things that you thought you wanted to do but no longer want to do. Re-entering life can be really triggering, very scary, stressful, even daunting. It's a lot of work to push past all of the fear and worry and PTSD and just kind of jump into it. Sometimes it just really takes taking a leap of faith and having to push yourself even though you're uncomfortable. You will likely have some kind of form of PTSD after being in chronic illness. That's not uncommon, so that's okay. Don't shame yourself for it. There is lots of ways that you can help move through trauma and PTSD. Self-help books and therapy are some of my favorite recommendations to give. Definitely take advantage of resources to help move past your emotional scars that you have inside, and don't be afraid to ask for help too. A great tip that I can give is to get out of your own head, and better yet, just get back out into the world. Like I said, sometimes it's really just taking a leap and putting yourself out there even though it feels foreign and scary. You can definitely still overdo it and end up setting yourself back and delaying some of your healing. You don't have to overthink or overstress about this. You just have to listen to your body and continue to respect the limits that your body gives you. Continuing on this limits and boundaries thing, as you heal and move forward, your limits and boundaries will continuously be fluctuating. I mean, they will constantly be in flux, always shifting. It can feel really frustrating sometimes to not have consistency in areas, but try to maybe focus more on gratitude that you are moving forwards. This is kind of parallel to when you're getting chronically ill. All of your boundaries and limits are like shifting backwards and becoming smaller and smaller. This is like the reversed order of, as you're healing, everything is moving back forwards, which means you're never really at one spot for very long, but that's a cool thing because you're moving forward. Some things in life will feel very emotionally raw, because your body finally has the energy to let you feel more emotions. Woohoo! Pros and cons to that. You have greatly healed by the time that you're in remission, and now your body literally is able to allow you to feel more emotions. And that can be really heavy and hard sometimes. Like I said before, asking for help, taking advantage of resources, reading self-help books, talking to a therapist, relying on friends and family to get through these emotional times is the best thing you can do for yourself. Time will definitely help heal your wounds, but it doesn't erase your scars. It doesn't make you forget the pain that you went through or the trauma that you faced. It's a normal part of human existence to have scars. You know, we all have our scars, and that's just a part of life. Time definitely does make it easier though. Something, and I think honestly the most important thing that I would like to tell people about remission and encourage, is that you have to remind yourself what things in life are a normal part of being human. I feel like remission is so often just remembering, oh yeah, this is like a normal part of being human. Meaning, everyone has bad days. Everyone gets sick sometimes. Everyone has emotional outbursts and cries from time to time. Everyone overdoes it sometimes. Everyone has those days where they overthink their existence and feel less than or not good enough or etc. Everyone has sleepless nights once in a while. I could list so much more too. There are so many things that I feel like people in remission go through, and initially we're like, oh crap, and then you have to remind yourself not to panic and realize, normal people go through this too. Maybe I'm not relapsing, maybe I'm just human and having a day. So that is my advice, is to remember what parts of life are just a normal part of being human. Remission is definitely not all sunshines and rainbows. It's not all good days. There's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of hard times. But at the end of the day, it's all worth it because you're moving forward. I mean, this is what you've worked so hard for in your journey. I realize in my time of YouTube and blogging and being a chronic illness advocate, I've focused a lot of my time on trying to give people hope that they can heal, but I haven't shared nearly as much about what healing is actually like, what remission looks and feels like. I think there's a huge lack of people who do that too, that they don't share the realities of healing and remission because honestly, it's really hard sometimes. And I think a lot of us don't share because we don't want to discourage the people who are trying so hard to get here. Like, I don't want to tell someone that it's still really hard on the other side of the hill. Really, I think the most important thing I could tell someone is that it is worth it. Every single bit of it is worth it because I'm healing and I have parts of myself back and parts of my life back that I never thought I would ever get back. I never thought I would live to see again. So the fact that I am here at all, even though sometimes it's hard, it's worth it, of course. Another thing that I would really like to just end with is healing looks different for everyone. So remission will look different for everyone. And that's okay. Obviously, you can compare yourself to my journey or someone else's journey, but at the end of the day, it's your journey and it may look totally different for you. So there's that. That's today's video. If you want to read this blog, I'll be sure to link it below and you can watch my video sharing about being 3 years in remission. Also linked below. I will link my Lyme Diaries playlist, which has all of my health videos, and you can check out all the other stuff on my channel too. If you guys ever have any questions or comments, you can always leave it in the comments below. If you have any video requests or topic requests for me, I'm always welcome to talk about things you guys want to hear about. So leave it in the comments below and let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I try to upload on Mondays, so I hope to see you guys here. Thanks for watching. Classic Mayo. Bitter sweet memories. If I should stay, I would only begin your way, so I'll go, but I know that I'll think of you every step of the way, and I